what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are ya? So my name is Sierra Padilla and I'm going to be talking about abolishing operations today, other known as AOs. So this term is going to be found in chapter 16 of our textbook under motivating operations. So the definition of an abolishing operation is a motivating operation that decreases the reinforcing effectiveness of an object, a stimulus, or even an event. It can also be described as having an abolishing effect. The opposite term of this is called an establishing operation, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. When learning about abolishing operations, you may also see it as written capital A, capital O, AOs. So now we'll be discussing where and when you're going to be seeing AOs and ABA. You will observe abolishing operations in many different environments while working as a BCBA. Motivating operations are the motivation that encourage or discourage certain behaviors. So when working specifically on behaviors, we must care what affects the motivation. If we aren't able to manipulate the environment in the right way and motivate our clients, then it will be very hard for us to do our job and potentially see results in our program. For example, I see this with one of my clients on a regular basis. One of the motivators I use is access to his iPad to watch desired YouTube videos. When my client has access to iPad the night before, I can tell that the iPad loses its reinforcing value during our sessions, which means I have to find something else and change my tactics to find different objects to motivate him to work. So now here are some examples of AO. His favorite snack is Skittles. Her teacher knows this and uses them as motivation to follow her directions. Before there is a long assembly, she continually rewarded Kathy using Skittles throughout the day as motivators. They began losing their effect as a reinforcer. Therefore, during the assembly, Kathy was not likely to sit the entire time in order to receive the candy because she had access to them all day. The Skittles had lost their effectiveness. Another example is, you attend a large party Friday night and spend your time talking and laughing with multiple groups of people. The next day, social interaction doesn't sound very desirable to you, so you stay inside and watch a movie alone. Our final example is, in a laboratory, mice are kept hungry during the test sessions. An inexperienced worker comes in and feeds the mice in the morning before testing has begun. The mice are no longer motivated by food since they already had their fill of cheese for that day. In all these examples, the animal or person received something that at one point was motivating for them, but after they received it, it wasn't that exciting. If you think about it, if you're pretty regular on eating fast food every day, and your mom texts you and say, hey, can you pick up the groceries? I'll buy you Chick-fil-A for dinner. That's not that motivating to go do the activity that you don't really want to do. So it's important to find an effective MO rather than an ineffective MO. So really quickly, I think it's important to kind of touch on what a non-example or the opposite of what an AO is. The opposite of it is called establishing operation, which I'm sure someone's going to make a video about too. So remember when we said the abolishing operation decreased the effectiveness? Well, establishing just means that it increases the reinforcing effectiveness. So a non-example of an abolishing operation would be if your family members decide to stop buying chips and keeping them out of the house, but you love chips. When you go to your friend's house, you'll do just about anything to get your hands on some of those chips. The deprivation of chips make them very motivating. Here's another non-example of an abolishing operation, which is more clinical. If you withhold water from mice, they are going to be highly motivated to complete any kind of task like pulling a lever or pushing a lever if that means they have access to water. Again, the deprivation of water makes it a more effective motivator. Let's say you give them a whole bunch of water before you do testing, and then you say push a lever and you'll receive water. The abolishing operation was that you gave them an excess of water, so now they're not thirsty, so now they're not going to perform a behavior to receive water. So now it's an abolishing operation and it's not motivating at all. So in this video, we talked about abolishing operations. We gave the definition, examples, and non-examples. I hope in my efforts that you guys fully understand the term and what it might look like in real life or in the clinic. Thank you.